so that you can hit him before he thinks about anything.
Mhm.
But that's in general kind of difficult to live your life like that. The 3 preemptions of Musashi means, let's say you're in a conflict, yes, and there is a necessity for you to become physical. If you could avoid, you would avoid. If you can escape, you would escape. If you can de-escalate and push and run, etc. Yes, so you have to become physical. There is a time frame from 0 to 10, and 10, he is attacking you, yes? So if you want to be the quickest, the best preemption, and preemption means be the first with action, could be you attack him before he thinks about anything. Understand what I'm telling you? So he's in range, you see it already, there's intention on his face, and you hit him. And now you maybe that's enough, yes?
Yeah.
So that you can hit him before he thinks about anything. But that's in general kind of difficult to live your life like that.
He's a threat. He's a threat.
So I found out when I was doing door work before the COVID, and we did so much free festivals, there was so much violence going on, because a paid festival, people want to go there and they pay for a ticket, they want to be there, they take drugs, they're happy, you know, then all of the time there is some violence, but 9 out of 10 times you bring people to the first aid and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the free events, when the income from the festivities come from alcohol consumption, and people, ass wipes can come in, then they are fighting on that event. So for me and my team, or my team and me, I have to say, there was we went in and escorted them out. So there was test day, the whole day fighting.
Test day.
Yes. Yeah, it was great, really serious. But if you have a good group of people, you want to get the negative elements out, you know, and then still reasonable and necessary, of course. But sometimes it escalated in true self-preservation, and you need to hit people, you know, and knock them out. So in that case, I became a little bit too sensitized that I was almost like that. You give me this boom, and then and that is because of summer after summer after summer. And then I found myself at one point, I'm like, no, this is not the right path. In the events, we get code red, it means fighting. But then I did, besides this, I was working the doors, and then it comes down to communication, de-escalation, etc. And then I noticed by myself that I took that mindset from the intervention team member to the door. And I became too clinical, and I said to myself, no, stop doing that. That's not what I'm doing. So now I changed my mind and changed my mindset, I have to say. And I try to communicate and de-escalate before I had to strike. That was my challenge, you know, because everybody can fight at one point.
Yeah.
But to deal with the adrenaline and the build-up, etc. So the best and the safest thing you can do is hit him first before he thinks about anything. Yes?
Yes.
Then the second preemption is, and now time frame is becoming smaller when he thinks about it. And how I teach this with my students is I let them stand in front of each other. One is holding a pad, and the other one is waiting, standing in the fence position. Yeah, protect the hands are up. And from this platform, he's going to hit the pad. But what I'm doing and teaching them is that the pad holder, he needs to think happy thoughts in the beginning of the drill. So literally, I'm asking them to have an honest relationship and honest pad feed. Yes, it's difficult to screw with this drill, but I'm assuming they're both honest. Then when I'm holding the pads, I'm literally thinking about flowers, puppy dogs.
I thought that, okay.
Yeah, booty, all that stuff that makes you
happy.
Yeah, happy shit, yeah. And you try not to smile, but you try to think about it and try to hide that intention too. And then when I say blow the whistle and the drill starts, you think happy, then you decide, can be 10 seconds, can be 20 seconds, can be 40 seconds, doesn't matter. You go from happy thoughts to really dark. Then I explain my students, I will do, if you come into my house and want to hurt my loved ones, I will stab 20 times your neck. That's what I'm doing. And I'm literally in my brain thinking how that I'm opening you up. It's dark, it's grim. But I want you to understand that I go from happy too dark.
I saw the switch.
Yeah, now I exaggerated it a little bit, but what I'm telling them to do is first recognize when you go from happy to dark thoughts. And now you need to hit him. So where do you have to look for? And I ask my student that holds the pad to really try to hide that. So now I did from happy to, but then if you really want to hide it, it's something in the lines of, you see always something, eyes become darker, shaking of the nostril, shaking of the lip. Maybe what I found out, one of my my brothers that I fight with on the door all the time, he says that I'm tilting my head a little bit when I start with violence, and I didn't know that. But one time I had a conflict with a guy, and I tried to de-escalate, and there was something wrong, and he went to his pocket, and I told him not to do, and then he went out of his pocket. And then there was still another need for an escalation in my book, because he had bad intention and he was raising his voice. So at one point I did this, and then my colleague rushed in, and then I dealt with him. And then I said to my colleague, "Hey man, thanks for covering me. You were quick." And he said, "Yeah, I was looking at you from a couple of meters distance, and I saw your head doing this." I'm like, and I knew already what time it was. I'm like, "Really?"
So he noticed your pre-threat cue.
Yeah, because I work with him for already for a long time. So he's one of my best friends. And don't think it's a guy like me, like kind of athletic, but he is like 50. And if you see him, you would underestimate him, maybe, or as an old individual or something. But he has the mindset of a lion. And he man, we had so many fights together. His name is Better, and yeah. I will always choose him to protect my back, you know. But he recognized, and what I found out some years later is that I had a seminar. Lee had a seminar, and I was his instructor to help, and I had to show a demo in a scenario, and it was in this French dude, and he was smashing the table, and I do the same. At one point, I'm doing this, and now I attack him. While I know it's a scenario or it is a simulation even. So we have to give the example to the public, and then they are going to train that. And I saw that there was a proof for me that your subconscious brain doesn't know the difference between real violence or simulated violence, because I did it. And now I attacked him. And then my cue started. So I recognize this for myself. But if you can recognize when somebody is squeezing the eyes, tilting the head, shaking nostril, lip, the small details, how useful is that? Now you know, he thinks about something, and now you hit him first. Of course, when you train this like this, it's just a start, because there's so much more. And in real life, you have to deal with his aggressive dialogue. You have to deal with your buildup of adrenaline. It's very difficult. But if you can stay cognitive in this dynamic, and you could see that small, subtle signs, you attack him now, you just was quicker than him. Yeah. Then the third part comes in from the three preemptions, and that is when he gives you a macro cue. We just spoke about micro cues, little details, and the next step is going to be the macro cue. So you have to understand that from hitting him first, going to micro cues and macro cues, that your time span is going like this,
getting smaller and smaller.
Yes, it goes very fast before he attacks you. So if you can hit him when you see a macro cue, this is your last chance. And the macro cue can be shifting body weight. Maybe he's clenching his fist. Maybe he looks around. What is he looking for? CCTV, friends, witnesses, etc. You know, or maybe he's touching this. Is what we call grooming. He's, without him knowing, he is hiding his intentions. You know, that stuff I understood very well when you work on the door. That's the stuff you always see and look around. Then they come the sucker punch and stuff like this. That are your macro cues. The popping elbow, if he's reaching for something, let's say he has a knife or a weapon, he needs to grab it, and then you see this elbow popping out. This is what we call the popping elbow. That's all macro cues. Shifting body weight, of course. If he wants to hit you, this can be really subtle, or this can be very explosive. You know, because what we do, we keep the hands up and we talk from a fence position, and my feet are already bladed. From this position, I can generate impact. I don't have to explain you.
Yeah.
because you kudo artist. Okay? you know how to fight. So you know that the best power comes from the leg, and that you have to have a good balance and a good foundation. You cannot hit very hard if you are flat-footed.
Yeah. Yeah. In a square, too square of a stance. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So you go from hitting him before he thinks about anything to when he thinks about it, understand micro cues until he's giving you a bigger signal, a macro cue. That are the preemptions of Musashi. Yeah.